Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse today, Friday, November 18th, 2022. Now, we're here covering now the defense side of the case in U.S. versus Neil Cole. Neil Cole on the stand. He's charged with securities fraud, round tripping. He's going to be cross-examined. We're going to focus on that. In other SDNY news, a few days ago, well, let me go back further. There's a guy named Alec Dupuis. He's a relatively affluent drug dealer, and one of his customers died. The prosecutors agreed that he could plead just to fentanyl, but that he wouldn't dispute causation of the death at sentencing. But when the sentencing memo was filed, it was almost entirely blacked out, redacted. So Inner City Press, we filed opposition with Judge Rakoff, and Judge Rakoff has said that it's too many redactions. He summoned them to a telephone conference that I guess wasn't on the docket. But in any case, we're now waiting to see it unveiled, and we'll be covering the sentencing as well. Watch this space. Meanwhile, in wider news, we went to the Committee to Protect Journalists shindig yesterday at the Glass House on the west side, and there were various Ukrainian and other journalists celebrated, and that was all to the good. What wasn't mentioned is that the United Nations has allowed in a correspondent from IRIB, the Iranian news service, which broadcasts forced confessions. This wasn't mentioned, and CPJ has partnered with the UN and UNCA, which has this gentleman as a member, while they banned Inner City Press. Also not mentioned, although it may have been late-breaking news, was the State Department under Antony Blinken saying that Mohammed bin Salman has total immunity for the death of Jamal Khashoggi, a journalist and critic. It's a shameful filing in a court system, and not for nothing, but Mr. Blinken is now bragging that he's headed to Qatar for the World Cup. Now, I understand the U.S. team is in it, but the readout or the prediction doesn't say a damn thing about dead migrant workers, a poet locked up, a critic locked up. In the same way that Blinken and the U.S. mission, at a smaller scale, but right here in New York, say nothing about the UN banning Inner City Press and allowing in a broadcaster of forced confessions. It must be reversed. To be continued.